Yo, what's going on, Kicks Army? Today I'm going to be showing you guys how to draw the Air Jordan 1 step by step. Let's get it! As usual with these how to draw videos, it's very important that we get the proportions down correct, otherwise it's not going to look right. So we're going to go ahead and start by drawing two squares right next to each other. Then we're going to divide those two squares into top and bottom halves. Afterward, we're going to add a vertical line dividing that bottom right hand quadrant into halves, as well as the initial left box. Afterward, we're going to add one more horizontal line dividing the two bottom quadrants into halves, and that'll give us all the guidelines we need to draw out the rest of the sneaker. Now I'm going to start off with getting the silhouette down, and it's important to notice where I put my lines in relation to where the guidelines are. That's going to help you in making sure that your shoe looks proportionally correct. Once we have the outline done, I'm going to go ahead and start with the outsole, and especially for the outsole, you want to look at that last horizontal line that we made and use that as your main guide. Notice how I stay underneath it pretty much all the way through from both ends. Afterward, I'm going to add the sole of the shoe that pretty much hugs the bottom edge of the shoe, and then some light detail for the stitching. Next, I'm going to work on the heel. Now I'm going to work on that leather panel towards the front. And remember, we're in the pencil stage, so all these things can be tweaked as needed. Don't go too crazy with it. Next, we're going to work on that line that leads towards the toe of the shoe. Now I'm going to work on the swoosh, and as always, the swoosh is a little bit tricky. It's not something that I'm particularly good at getting on the first try, but again, practice. If it doesn't look right, just erase and make it look good. Now I'm going to go ahead and start working on the lace liner, as well as adding some more details on the upper. Now I'm going to start working on that panel that heads up towards the ankle, and notice how this extends past the top boxes that we originally made. That's what's going to give it that high top look. Now I'm going to go touch up the lace liner as well as give the tongue a little bit more detail. Afterward, I'm going to place the eyelets, and from there I can go ahead and start adding in the laces. Now on the upper panel, you can pretty much put whatever logo that you want. You can put your logo, the Wings logo, add whatever you want. It's your drawing, do what you like. The rest of the drawing is pretty much just the inking phase. Now you're going to notice that for this inking phase, it kind of looks pretty sloppy, and that's because I knew I wasn't going to have as much time to really go through and to give it a nice clean look, mainly because I was running out of time, and if I didn't kind of do it quick, I wasn't going to have enough time to upload a video for today, as well as it's really hard to get clean lines from awkward angles when I can't move the paper around. I'm not sure if you guys know this, but for these videos I have to go ahead and I have to tape the paper down so that way it stays still, otherwise the paper would move around too much and I wouldn't be able to get a good capture of it. And I know once I go ahead and add the final coloring, it's not going to matter what the lines look like too much because it's going to be covered up for the most part anyway. I'm basically drawing the shadow ones, so because it has a lot of darker details anyway, the line work doesn't matter as much. And even though the line work is pretty sloppy, at least in my opinion it's pretty sloppy, I do think it's interesting kind of showing you guys that even though something looks sloppy at first, the end result can look completely different because once you go ahead and you add all those colors, it doesn't really matter what the first part looked like. Like if I wanted to, I could have spent another 5 minutes working on the sketching, making it really precise. I could have spent another 10 minutes on the line work, getting all those lines super clean, but at the end of the day, I only have to do so much detail because I know at the end when I add all the coloring, it's going to cover everything up and it's going to look fine. Now for most of my videos, as you guys probably know, I use a lot of blacks and grays, and the reason is because in almost every shoe that I draw, there is at least some form of black and or gray in the shoe. In the past, whenever there's like a section with black, I would just use black, but as my drawing got better and as I started to learn more techniques, I realized that just having flat colors doesn't look nearly as good as when I'm trying to blend. Now blending in black is very tough because black is such a strong color, so you can't really blend it in too much. Like you can put down a basic black layer and then you can add more of it in the bottom and it'll kind of show a little bit of a difference, but if you really want to show black as a gradient, you have to add gray in order to show it, which makes sense because you know a lighter black is a gray, so that's kind of how it works. And what I used to use was Prismacolors a lot, but now for my grays I only use Copics because I feel like Copics work a lot better. And even though they initially are kind of expensive, the fact that you can refill them, I think makes them worth it. Because initially you're spending like $7 per marker, but then when you get the refill pack, it comes with like a good 7 markers worth of ink in one pack, and that's like another $6 or $7. So it pretty much pays for itself after you buy it initially. And for the grays, I always use the cool grays. There's the warm grays and the neutral grays, but I feel like the cool grays have a nicer color to them. They're kind of like a bluish tint in it, so for the most part, that's what I pretty much go with. I have a link in the description for those markers if you guys want. I would recommend buying these in store, but the problem is, at least for me, I could never find the set in store. So if you guys want them, you can go ahead and check out the link and get them. And just a real quick tip on blending, I always start with the upper being lighter and the bottom part of the section being darker. So let's say for the upper I'm using a C7, on the bottom part is going to be a C9. And then to blend the two colors together, I'm just going to use the C7 and kind of wash it over in between the two colors, and it's going to naturally blend it in more. Now if you're still struggling to go ahead and draw the shoe, I do have this stencil available on my website KicksArt.com. I'll have the link in the description as well as the link on the screen. There's a ton of stencils on the site, and you can also contact me on that contact tab requesting stencils that you don't already see on the website. And if you guys are having any troubles whatsoever when it comes to your art or anything like that, go ahead and send me a comment down in the description below and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. But that's gonna do it for today's video. If you guys enjoyed the video, leave a like. If you are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button and bounce past that bell to get post notifications whenever I upload a new video. And I'm actually pretty excited for tomorrow's video. It's gonna be on a sneaker that's gonna come out pretty soon, so I'm pretty excited. Hopefully you guys will find it exciting too. But with that being said, I will see you guys tomorrow. Peace.